Welcome back once again to this series all about how to animate metahumans in Maya and then render them in Unreal Engine 5. If you're following along with this series, you're all set with your animation inside of Maya, and you're ready to transfer it all to Unreal Engine. Then in the next video, you'll record it inside Unreal and render it out as a movie. Step 1. Set up Maya with the Unreal LiveLink plugin. If you finished going through parts 1 and 2 of this series, you should now have a Maya scene open called Erno_anim08_filmlights. Go to the File menu, go Save Scene As, and save this as Erno_anim09_livelink. Now, if you don't already have it installed, you'll need to download the latest Autodesk Unreal LiveLink plugin and install it into Maya and then restart. Once you're all set with the Unreal LiveLink plugin, inside Maya, go to File, Unreal LiveLink. It may prompt you to choose a version of Unreal, and if it does, choose version 5. Now in the outliner, click on Erno, DHI Head Spine 04, and then in the Unreal LiveLink window, click Add Selection. Then change its name to Erno Face. Now in the outliner, click on Erno, DHI Body Root, and then once again click Add Selection, and change its name to Erno Body. Now in the outliner, choose the 3 Maya lights, and then choose Add Selection. Now select the 4 Maya cameras, and press Add Selection. The UberCam is only going to be used as a visual reminder for where we need to add camera edits inside Unreal Engine, so don't bother adjusting the UberCam once we get it into Unreal, because there's no point. Okay. In the bottom right viewport, go to Panels, Perspective, UECam 01. Step 2. Create Unreal Project, add MetaHuman, and enable LiveLink. So go ahead and launch Unreal 5.0.2. Create a new project, Film and TV template, choose Blank, and then turn on Ray Tracing. Name the project, and click Create. When the project opens, on the bottom right, click to update the project. In the main top ribbon, click on the icon with a green plus, and then click on Quixel Bridge. Click on MetaHumans on the left side, then find the tile called Erno and click on it. Then click to download. And once it's finished, click on the blue Add button. This is going to start the process of adding it to the scene. Wait for all that to finish. Click Enable Missing on all of the prompts, but don't restart yet. Close the bridge window. Go into the Edit menu, Plugins, type in Live, and make sure the main LiveLink plugin is enabled. And also turn on LiveLink Camera plugin. Now click the prompt to restart the editor. Once it's restarted, click to close the plugins window. We need to add the MetaHuman to the scene. To do that, in the content browser, go to All, Content, MetaHumans, Erno, and drag BP Erno into the viewport onto the checkered floor. It's normal for the interface to freeze while this processes. In the Details panel on the right, zero out its location and rotation. In the outliner, click on the floor, and now zero out its location as well. Now let's add a simple wall behind our character to make it stand out. In the World outliner, click on the floor, then duplicate it by pressing Ctrl-D. In the outliner, click on the new Floor 2 object. Press F2 on the keyboard. Now type in Wall. Then at the top of its Details tab, change the location to -30, -450, and 0. Change the rotation to 90, 0, and 0. Now let's change the viewport to be cinematic so we can see more details. Click the word just to the right of the hamburger menu. This most likely says perspective. At the bottom of the menu that's appeared under viewport type, click to enable cinematic viewport. Now in the outliner, click on Edit BP-ERNO. In the components list in the top left, scroll to the bottom and click on Load Sync. Now in the Details panel on the right, under LOD, change Forced LOD to 0. This will stop the hair disappearing when you move the camera around. Now at the top of the editor window, press Compile, and then Save. And now you can minimize this window. Now open the LiveLink panel, or go Window, Virtual Production, LiveLink, and then press Source, Message Bus Source, and then click on Maya LiveLink. Step 3. Set up the Unreal MetaHuman to receive body data from Maya. Now in the World Outliner, click on Edit BP-ERNO. In the Components tab in the top left of the interface, twirl down BP-ERNO Self, Root, Body, Face, then click on Beard. On the right side, under the Groom section, double-click on the icon next to the words Groom Asset. The default simulation for this beard is really unnatural, so we're going to disable it so it doesn't make our results look terrible. So on the right side, twirl down the solver settings. Click to disable the Enable Simulation checkbox. In the top ribbon of the editor, click Save. Now you can close this editor tab so you can return to the BP-ERNO editor tab. In the Components tab in the left top of the interface, click on Body. Now on the right-hand side, find the skeletal mesh. It's a tile with a pink line at the bottom. Double-click on that. Then in the top right corner, next to a yellow button, there are 3 dots. Click on that, and then choose M, MED, OVW, and MBP. Now in the bottom left area, double-click the anim graph to open it. Now zoom into the left top of the graph. Click and drag out the white icon of a body to the right and down. Release the mouse click and type in live-link. Click on the LiveLink Pose option. In the new LiveLink Pose node, change the subject name dropdown to Erno Body. Now go up and press Compile and click Save. You can now minimize this editor window. Now the body won't work yet, but we're almost done. So go to the World Outliner, click once on BP-ERNO to select it, but don't double-click on it. Then in the Details panel underneath, at the top, there's a list of things. Click on the one labeled Body. Now, underneath this section, under Animation, make sure the animation mode is set to Use Animation Blueprint. Then click on the Anim class dropdown and click on M_MED_OVW_AnimBP. The Anim class will now display that and add an _C, but you can ignore that. Step 4. Set up the Unreal MetaHuman to receive face data from Maya. In the World Outliner, click on Edit BP-ERNO. Now in the top left Components tab, click on BP-ERNO Self. Then on the right side in the Details panel, change LLink Face Subj to Erno Face. Now click Compile and Save. Now in the Components tab in the top left of the interface, click on Face. On the right-hand side, find the skeletal mesh. It's a tile with a pink line at the bottom. Double-click on that. Now click on the yellow button on the top right-hand side to open Face Anim BP. Now in the Preview Scene Settings tab, under Animation, change the Preview Controller to LiveLink Preview Controller. Then for the subject name, choose Erno Face. Now this is really important. At the bottom of the Preview viewport, there's a green button that says Disable. Click that. It's going to change to Enable. This is really important, otherwise the face is not going to work. Press Compile and Save. You can now minimize this editor window. Go to the World Outliner. Click once on BP Erno to select it. Then go to the Details panel underneath. And at the top of that panel is a list of things. Click on the one labeled Face. Now underneath this section, under Animation, make sure the animation mode is set to Use Animation Blueprint. Then make sure the anim class is set to face_animbp_c. Now, and this is really important once again, click to turn on the checkbox next to Disable Post-Process Blueprint. That's really important. You need to disable the post-process. Now go up to the top UE ribbon and press play. Press Alt-Tab on the keyboard to switch back to Maya. Go to frame 0 and press Alt-V to start playing. Press Alt-Tab again to switch back to Unreal. And move around the viewport using your mouse and the ASDW keys to frame up your MetaHuman. You should see the face and body matching Maya in Unreal. If they don't, go through and try to work out which step you may have done incorrectly. Press Shift F1 to get your mouse cursor back. And then, on the top ribbon, press Stop. Step 5. Add lights in Unreal. In the viewport, rotate around so the green arrow is towards you. Now in the World Outliner, click on Atmospheric Fog, and then press Delete on the keyboard. Then delete Light Source, and click Yes if a warning pops up. Now delete Sky Sphere, Sky Light, and Sphere Reflection Capture. Now go to the Place Actors tab, click on the Lights icon, and then drag a rect light into the scene. In the World Outliner, press F2 to rename it, and type UE Light 01. In the Details tab, reset the location and the rotation. Just below those settings, under Mobility, change it to be movable. At the top of the Details tab, click the Add button. Then type in Live, then click on LiveLink Controller. Click on the LiveLink Component Controller object that's just been added below this. And then under there, find the subject representation and change the drop-down to Maya Light 01. Make the top of the Details tab larger vertically so you can clearly see all the elements that make up the light. At the top of the Details panel, click on UE Light 01 Instance. This is really important, otherwise if you try to duplicate it, it will actually just duplicate the LiveLink component controller object. Now in the World Outliner, click on UE Light 01, then press Ctrl D to duplicate it. In the World Outliner, press F2 to rename it, and type UE Light 02. Now duplicate this. In the World Outliner, press F2 to rename it, and type UE Light 03. Now in the World Outliner, click on UE Light 02. At the top of the Details tab, click on the LiveLink component controller object, and then under there find the subject representation and change the drop-down to Maya Light 02. Now in the World Outliner, click on UE Light 03. At the top of the Details tab, click on the LiveLink component controller object, and then under there find the subject representation and change the drop-down to Maya Light 03. Step 6. Add first camera in Unreal. Now back in the Place Actors tab, click on the icon that looks like a film slate. Now click and drag a cine camera into the viewport. Name it UECam01. In the Details tab, zero out the location. Then make sure the rotation is also zeroed out. Set it to be movable. Under Film Back Settings, next to Sensor Width, click into the text field and replace the values. Type in 5.2.476. Okay, now for sensor height, click into the text field and replace the values. Type in 2.3.012. Leave the lens setting at the default, which is universal zoom. At the top of the Details tab, click the Add button. Then type in Live. Then click on LiveLink Controller. Make the top of the Details tab larger vertically so you can clearly see all the elements that make up the camera. At the top of the Details panel, click on UECam01 Instance. This is important, otherwise if you try to duplicate, it will actually just duplicate the LiveLink component controller object. Step 7. Duplicate cameras in Unreal. Now we need to duplicate this camera 3 times. In the World Outliner, click on UECam01, then press Ctrl D on the keyboard to duplicate it. Press F2 and adjust the naming to be UECam02. Unreal will have offset the new camera's location by 10 centimeters even though you didn't ask it to. So to fix this, in the Details panel, click to reset its location. Click to make sure UECam02 is selected in the outliner. Press Ctrl D to duplicate it. Press F2 and adjust the naming to be UECam03. Once again, Unreal will have offset the new camera's location, so in the Details panel, click to reset its location. Okay, click to make sure UECam03 is selected in the outliner. Press Ctrl D to duplicate it. Press F2 and adjust the naming to be UEUbercam01. And again, Unreal will have offset the new camera's location, so in the Details panel, click to reset it. In the World Outliner, click on UECam01. At the top of the Details tab, click on the LiveLink component controller object. And then underneath there, find the subject representation and change the drop-down to Maya Cam 01. In the World Outliner, click on UE5.0.2. At the top of the Details tab, click on the LiveLink component controller. And then under there, find the subject representation and change the drop-down to Maya Cam 02. In the World Outliner, click on UE Cam 03. At the top of the Details tab, click on the LiveLink component controller. And then under there, find the subject representation and change the drop-down to Maya Cam 03. In the World Outliner, click on UE Cam 01. At the top of the Details tab, click on the LiveLink component controller. And then under there, find the subject representation and change the drop-down to Maya Cam 01. Step 8. Set level blueprint to autoplay camera 1. Okay, so now we need to set UE Camera 01 as the default when we press play on the Unreal scene. In the top main ribbon of Unreal, just to the right of the icon with a green plus, is another icon with 3 boxes on it. This is the Blueprint menu. Click on it, then click on Open Level Blueprint. On the Event Begin Play node, drag the white chevron to the right. Release the mouse click, then type in Set space View space Target space Width space Blend. You may need to turn off Context Sensitive. And what you're looking for is Player Set View Target with Blend. Select that. Now in the graph, zoom out a little bit and drag the new blue node to the right so you have space to its left before the Event Begin Play node. Minimize this window for a moment. And in the World Outliner, make sure UE Camera 01 is selected. Now back in the editor for the level viewprint, right-click in a blank space just to the left of the New View Target option on the blue node. Turn on Context Sensitive again if you've turned it off, and at the top of this pop-up, choose Create Reference to UE Camera 01. Now move this node down a little bit. Connect the output of this node to the New View Target input of the Set View Target with Blend node. Now in a blank area to the left of the target input of the blue node, right-click and type in Get space Player. Then click on Game, Get Player Controller. Connect the output of this node to the target input of the Set View Target with Blend node. Now in the top ribbon, click Compile. Then click Save. Close the tab called Main, and then minimize this editor window. In the World Outliner, click on Player Start. In the Details panel, change its Z location to -1000. This will stop a big grey ball appearing in the scene when we press play. In the top ribbon in Unreal, press play on the scene. It will default to camera 1, but you'll also see there's annoying circles in the frame, so let's get rid of those. Stop the scene playing, go to the Edit menu, Project Settings. In the search field, type in Mobile. Under the big title Engine Input, there's a small tab for Mobile. Underneath that, disable the option Always Show Touch Interface. Now close this project editor window. Step 9. Play animation from Maya to Unreal. In the top ribbon of Unreal, press Play. And you'll see a preview of Maya Cam 01. Now, it won't switch cameras, but that's correct because it's definitely transferring the data for all your Maya cameras over to Unreal, but playing the UberCam into Unreal actually causes problems with frame dropouts because it makes Unreal move the cameras massively in space and change their focal distance all in an instant. So you're better off previewing just Maya Cam 01 inside Unreal. If the Unreal viewport is out of focus, it means that Unreal has lost connection to the camera in Maya. This happens actually quite often for me, and it happens even though the LiveLink window says that everything is fine and everything is green. The workaround is just go into the LiveLink window in Unreal and delete the LiveLink connection. Just press the trash icon. Then just add it back again. And that should work. Okay, your Unreal scene should still be playing, so in the top ribbon, press Stop. Just a reminder that you can always press Shift F1 to get your mouse cursor back while you're playing inside Unreal. Switch back to Maya, and press Alt-V to stop the playback. And go to frame 0. Okay, in the next video, we're going to record everything inside Unreal Engine, then clean it up so we have a clean recording of our animation, including the body, the face, all of the cameras, and all of the lights. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in that next video.